This morning, we're going to talk about the difference between joy and happiness. We're going to begin with our affirmation. Today, I will learn the difference between happiness and joy. One comes and goes, and the other is eternal. I can choose joy in any situation, even the situation of temporary unhappiness. So the text starts out that even though people use these two words synonymously, like they mean the same thing, joy is deeper, or at least different, from happiness, because joy is rooted in our relationship with God, with our source, and since this is the case, it is more serene and more stable than mere happiness, which is based on our emotions, which, as we know, come and go. You can be sad or unhappy because of your particular life situation is temporarily not the best, yet still be joyful in general about other things going on around you in your greater world. Because it is an emotion, happiness is necessarily dependent upon your current circumstances. Current circumstances, however, have nothing to do really with your joy, which is not an emotion that comes and goes, but rather a fruit of the Spirit and a result of your identification with God and your eternal divine nature. Now, I have an example for this that might seem a little odd to you, but it's what I always think about when I think about this difference between joy and happiness, and how you can be maybe unhappy in your particular life circumstance, but still have joy. There was an old 80s movie, An Officer and a Gentleman, and there were two young ladies who both had romantic relationships with these Navy officers. And I won't go into all the details, but one of those relationships turned out very badly, and the girl was very unhappy. And then the other, though, she thought her situation was going to turn out to be sad, but in the end, you know, it's that famous, iconic scene where he comes in his white uniform to the factory and picks her up and takes her out. And my thing is, when I'm going to have to turn my book over for this, but when her friend, the one whose relationship has ended sadly, sees it, instead of being bitter because her own circumstances, she just starts clapping and says, "Way to go, Paula." She was happy for her friend. She had joy for the bigger circumstance, even though personally her situation was not as happy at the moment. But I always feel like that kind of gave her inspiration that, yeah, my life's going to look up too. So even when we're unhappy in the moment temporarily because of the circumstances that are around us that always are changing, we can still have joy because, as I said, joy is not rooted in anything that's passing like our emotions. Joy, true joy, is that knowledge of who we are and the connection that we always have with our source and our creator. So lastly, it just says, the actions or words of another may make us unhappy. And as we know, the actions of others are beyond our control. But because joy is a fruit of the Spirit that we always have access to, we always have the ability to choose it in any circumstance at any time. So let's end the time of devotion today with our prayer together. God of joy, help us to understand that joy is truly always available to us, whether we are currently happy or unhappy with our life situation. True joy is in the knowledge that all things are working together for our good and that trouble don't last always. Amen.